Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Saturday Night Fever. My co-host Chattanooga Ed and our awesome guest Kenny E from Daniken
What's
Aquatics.
going on, ladies and gents?
I appreciate you both being here today. I'm going to run through here and say some hellos real quick. We got Sacred Aquatics too. Hey, Amy, how are you? Dragon Lair, Chevy Fish, Tampa Tom Fishing, Daniken Aquatics in the chat as well. Both are here. Justin Powers, hello. Mob Guppy, good to see you. Peter T-Bone, we're here. Select Pet Chewy Ltd. Lots of good back and forth conversation before the show started. Willie B66, how are you? Is here from Kentucky. Appreciate you being here. Gnarly Fish Tanks GT Aquatics. Hello, Big J Fish Keeper. Rico Stan, how are you, my friend? Lefty3213A is in the house. Chad Krotz, John Cox, Color Guppies, Holly Gibbs, rolling, scrolling. Bepley Greek Aquatics, Darlene Stanks. I'm sure I missed a couple. Getting on down here to the bottom. Von Lurker, what's up? Vision Tactics, KG Cichlids, and Sherry Kramer and Bill Witt. Big Tank Hank, what's up? If I missed you, I'm sorry. I appreciate y'all being here. So we're going to roll right into it. If anybody somehow doesn't know this guy, right there, that way, that guy.
There you go.
Is Kenny E from Daniken Aquatics. He is another awesome fish tuber, a member of the channel, and a good friend. We went with him to Florida to see Father Fish. Is that a month and a half ago?
Yeah, it's been almost 2 months already. Can you believe that?
Time just flies. It's crazy. But we had an awesome time. So we brought him on. We're going to chat a little bit. Don't have a specific topic.
I think the last time we all chatted was in.
Yeah, I think so.
That was the last stream we did was in Florida.
Yeah, we had that. It was a Saturday night chat from the hotel room. That was a blast.
We did have a blast.
One thing I do want to touch on at some point tonight is kind of, Ed and I go to a lot of local events where we're gone for a day or two, and you doing your fish tour across the country. I'm sure we can all come up with some advice for people that are going to be going out of town, whether it be short term or long term, on maybe some things that we forget or that we always make sure we pack that you might not think of, or for like you going out for a while. Dragon there we go. That got blocked. Says a member of the Booty Boys. Yes, we have 3 of the 4 Booty Boys here.
My wife gives me a hard time, man. I've been using those things like I'm just doing a quick trip. I'll flip them on because they're so convenient,
Yeah, that's awesome. You got to get your money's worth out of them too. I think they're like $50. So
yeah,
that money's worth.
It was Ed's idea. It's Ed's fault.
Yep.
Now, do you use yours a lot for the pool, Ed?
I was using them for cleaning out my tubs.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Nice.
I've got a little stream right here by the house that I've gone and done some fish catching in once before. But next time I get out there, I'm like, I'm wearing those shoes now that I've got them. I'm putting them to use.
Now, since you guys have been back, have you caught yourself when you go by a body of water now saying, I wonder if I dipped that, what would be in there?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And also, as we were rolling through, when Ed and I went with Sean Peck Tech up to Indiana, I'm sitting in the back seat kind of looking, going, wonder what's in there if I dip a net in. I see people fishing. I'm like, I definitely could dip the net in there and catch some stuff, I'm sure.
Well, of course you could. You're not scared to get up to your neck in water to get some fish. I've seen you in action there.
Well, I will definitely take a dive to get some fish. I was contemplating grabbing my little net that I bought. I think I'm going to do that real quick so I can show everybody just how addicted to that it got me when we were catching fish with Father Fish.
He bought a little net. Wow, I didn't know about this.
Man, he's ahead of us, Ed.
But what if he comes back with just a normal net? I should get a net. I don't have a net close.
So this is what I bought. Now I've got a couple more that I want to order, but this thing actually folds up. I can do it real quick.
That's probably what you use when you're catching butterflies.
Yeah, it would work for that too, but it's nice and deep. Nice and deep. It's got a good mesh to it. So if you're thinking about doing any collecting when you're going out of town, this would be something great to have.
Oh, nice. So it breaks all the way down for you.
It breaks down. Got your little handle. Just pop
so you could actually put that in a suitcase if you wanted to.
Yep, suitcase. You can throw it in a backpack if you're taking a backpack with you, which I always do. I can't can't get the darn thing back together. There we go. But yeah, I think this was like $14 on Amazon. I saw it. I actually got it. I think I ordered it on the way back up here from Florida. I was like, I need a collecting net of some sort to take with me.
I want to find out where you get the ones he had, man.
Yeah.
Those big, deep.
Well, I'm not going to extend it out all the way, but it's telescopic. So
nice. I bet you can get some fish caught with that.
Oh, I'm sure. We're going to give it a try here soon. John Cox says there's some nice local fish, many shiners, the top minnows, and many more. Yes, so Tennessee's got a lot of awesome local fish here. Go ahead, Ed.
Oh, the net I was using down there was actually a pool net.
Is that what that is?
The small one that I was using, the black one, was a pool one. And, I was looking at mine. I've got like 3 of those for my pool. Okay, keep going on about
no, you're fine. I was just saying that's I'm looking forward to getting out and giving that a try. And that's something I'll definitely be packing along if we ever have collecting in mind. Or if I've got a decent sized suitcase, I might throw it in the bottom of it just for the heck of it to have it. Because I do, like you said, I find myself looking at bodies of water now going, ooh, what's in there?
The next time I go to Florida, my target's going to be those pygmy sunfish, though. I want some of those pygmy sunfish so bad right now.
Yes, absolutely. We need to make a trip back in the not too distant future. I think that's a good 2021 goal.
There's Aquashella going to be there, I guess, next year. So
yeah,
Orlando, yeah.
And I'd also like to go to the new Disney World Star Wars thing.
Ooh, that would be fun. I'd very much like to do that.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that.
What are we gonna dress in costume to go there?
No.
No?
You just get it stuck and hot and maybe wet because it rains like for 5 minutes every day.
Right.
It'd just be horrible.
So you're saying if you go Chewbacca, you're gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah. that would be awful.
Light, loose clothes when you go to Orlando, at least to Disney World, is what I've learned.
So that's one of the things that definitely to keep in mind when you're going. So like when we went to Florida with Kenny, and it was going to be a short trip. So I just packed like one basic change of clothes, but I packed like 3 or 4 extra shirts, just because growing up in Florida, I know the humidity just wears you out on sweat stage shirts. Hey, Aquatic Marine. Actually, speaking of shirts, I've got my Aquatic Marine shirt on. I saw him in the chat. Kenny, thank you for the shirt. The back of this thing is awesome. I guess I could show it. Let me see if I can show it to you here.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Super colorful.
Are those for sale?
Kenny's in the chat. We'll find out for sure. This was a gift from him, so I don't know 100% if they are for sale or not, but I'm sure we can get an answer from him if he's not rolling down the road at the moment. But yeah, so that's things to keep in mind based upon your itinerary would be, specific clothes for what you're going to do, water shoes. The whole trip down there, the 3 of us were going, we need to hit a Walmart and get some water shoes.
Just couldn't find a Walmart. I mean, we were looking. Remember, for the last 50 miles, we were looking, never saw a sign.
Yeah.
So I was looking all night long, but they're closed all night. That was part of the problem at 2 a.m.
Well, and the other problem is, I mean, the one Walmart we could have found was that one place where I was like, where's my gun? I mean, it was that, remember that one place it was sketch, man. I mean, James and I went in to use the restroom. We're like, oh my God, I ain't even the least bit worried about COVID. I'm more worried about what else we might catch in here. It was bad.
Yeah.
Remember? It was horrible.
Yeah. So, but some of my basics that I take, even if it's just a short day trip, I like to take an extra bucket set up with my USB air pumps. And then, of course, coolers. Styrofoam coolers are great to have if you're going to be, going to a fish show, you're getting bags of fish, things like that. And then
an extra bucket would be good in case you don't want to go into the bathroom.
Yeah, absolutely. It never hurts to have an emergency roll of toilet paper in the car either when you're traveling.
Well, I keep those flushable wet wipes.
Yes.
Because they're also good for spill. You know, if you spill something, you can clean, and they're also good for cleaning off toilets and everything else. Just
Absolutely. No, those are definitely a good thing to have. There's just stuff like that. And you've got, just your basic chargers and stuff, things for your phones. If you're going to be recording, like, I try to do. I forget a lot of times because I get wrapped up in the moment. But like Kenny was doing fish room tours, so I'm sure you had
battery packs. I had Intel's got this cool little miniature battery deal. Plug your stuff, similar to what you had, James.
Gotcha. Nice.
We should get a flare gun.
James has got like the industrial side, like these big bricks. You click it in, you're good for like, I don't know, 3 days or something, James. That thing was bad.
Yeah, I've got, I think, like 40,000 milliamp hours of batteries that I take in the 2 different batteries I bring. But I got those back when I was playing Pokemon Go, Die Hard, when it first came out, running 3 devices, and just walk around with them plugged into those bricks so they didn't run out.
I think James could run his own fish room on his little battery packs. But
yeah, I could certainly come close.
So how much does a flare gun cost?
That's a good question.
I should start taking a flare gun because that'd be cool.
That would be. I've got road flares in my car, but I don't have a flare gun. So let us know in the chat what kind of things you think we should pack on these fish adventures, and some things that you were absolutely like, hey, if I'm going out of town, I gotta have this with me.
I think a flare gun would be cooler than road flares. Then we could shoot it.
Lots of snacks. You definitely want snacks.
Yes, snacks are a must. Pack a camera, says Select Pet, and Willie B66 says Select Pet brought me here. Thanks for being here. Rod and reel, that's a good one. I've thought of getting the little telescopic rod and reels, just so I've got something small with me at all times. Almost things you can, keep in a backpack. Again, I'm big on having the whole backpack thing.
See, that would have been something else that would have been cool to do if we had a little more time. Just go out on a half-day fishing excursion would have been cool. Go out on the water and catch some mahi-mahi and a few other cool. Well, I guess in Florida they call them dorado. But
Roxanne says a first aid kit. I do keep a first aid kit in my truck, and I also keep like lip balm and some off. I don't normally keep any of the sunscreen though. Yep. I just burn.
Candy, Tampa Tom Fishing says candy. That's a must-have, at least for us. I know I love having candy to snack on the car rides, and Ed likes his peach rings.
Yeah, well, if you'd have candy with you, you'd have all your answers.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, binoculars.
Yeah. Where was it? Somebody said tie-down straps. There it is. 2-ton tie-down straps, at least 2 of them.
I have 4 in my car.
I've got ratchet straps, rope, and tow chain in my vehicle for when I take it.
Yeah, I've got I think 3 or 4 ratchets, and then I've got this like spider netting where you can.
I have that too.
Yeah, that stuff's cool.
It is.
I have a station wagon, so I don't keep the netting. But if you've got a pickup truck, that stuff is definitely handy. And there's where Candy overhauls some binoculars. That's an awesome idea. Saw snake bite kit somewhere, rope. Father Fish said the Booty Boys are back together. Yeah, Father Fish, we need to plan a Booty Boys live stream with all 4 of us one of these days.
I was just going to say it's not the complete Booty Boys because he's not sitting here next to me. That would make it a complete Booty Boys. But
well, how difficult would that be?
I mean, if he's available, he's welcome to come on up. I don't mind one bit. I think that would be fun to have the Booty Boys back together. Real quick, for anybody that's not familiar on where that came from, we all had to go buy water shoes like we discussed earlier. And so the only place that we had near us was a dive shop. So they've got all the fancy scuba gear and all this really nice expensive stuff. And the 4 of us all went in and just got water shoes or booties. And so the lady at the store said, "Is that all you need?" And we're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I'm going to call you the Booty Boys."
Booty Boys.
So that's where that came from, if you're not familiar with that. Priscilla MK with a $2 super chat says, "Listening while driving home, # beard dye fund." Thank you, Priscilla. I appreciate that very, very much. Very kind of you. And yeah, Ed's, I think he does. Oh, there we go. Absolutely, Father Fish. I'm going to drop it right in the chat here instead of going through sending it elsewhere. So we're just putting Father Fish.
My biggest regret is that I didn't buy the boots that Father Fish bought.
Yeah, he did get the Big Daddy ones.
He did. And I think if I lived down there still, I definitely would have gone with those because, they're also compatible with the flippers if you're going, scuba diving. But I don't know. I kind of regret not getting the Mac Daddy ones like he did. He got the legitimate booties.
They were only $8 more.
That last pot we were collected, man. I mean, I don't know about you, James, but I got out of the water. I had to take my hand and physically remove the gunk out of the shoe. Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad.
I had to wash mine when we got back to the hotel. I had to run them in the shower. When I got in the shower, I'm trying to get all the sand out of them to get them ready for the next day. That was so much fun, and that brings us back to community, kind of to get off topic a little bit, but the community we've got here is so amazing. Without YouTube and the Fish fam, I never would have met these two guys and Father Fish as well, and we would have never been on an adventure in Florida. Hey, Father Fish, how are you?
Oh, no, there he is.
There. Hi, guys.
What you doing, Father Fish?
I'm just laying back. It is the end of the day for me.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you hopping on here. I thought about sending you an invite earlier, and I was like, well, it's probably his wind down time, but since you were in the chat and ready and willing, I appreciate you coming on. It's good to have Booty Boys.
You. It's wind down for me. Appreciate being here. I don't know if I can get. I've got an old camera here, so I look washed out.
It's all good. I think it'll work, and I think everybody's just happy to have you on here with us.
Thank you. Nice to be here. How are you guys been? I've been wanting to call you, James, and talk to you about a bunch of different things, and I seem to never get around to it.
I understand that. You're welcome to give me a call whenever you get around to it. I've been doing well. Kenny, I know you had a lot of adventure still after you left us after the Father Fish trip.
Did.
We barely made it to Arkansas. It was a bunch of storms and whatnot going to Arkansas, and then flash floods. And then from Arkansas, now it was a little sketch getting down to Jess, but once I got there, man, it was awesome. She took me horseback riding. I got to shoot all of her ponds and her horses and all the stuff. Then, it was a blast. Then my favorite part, I went to the Cichlid shack. I don't know if you guys have heard of those guys, but man, those were phenomenal. I was in my kind of like you were when you were up to your neck in water, James. That's where I was at when I was at the Cichlid shack, dude. I mean, I spent I probably spent about a half hour, 40-minute stream there, and then I spent another 30 to 40 minutes talking to them all and really taking my time and looking through everything. But yeah, that was cool. And then I ended my trip with Big J, and we had a blast up there. So, trip of a lifetime.
Real quick, I would say Kenny at Aquatic Marine says, have a fishy evening, everyone. Got to splash out. Kenny, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for being a member and everything you do to help out the community and the channel. And thank you again for the shirt, buddy. Have a great night. But yeah, that's so. You did what, about a dozen fish room tours while you were on your trip, Kenny?
15, I think, is what it ended up being, all said and done.
Oh man!
So, and I've got Priscilla should be dropping because I started that earlier before we got on. It says it's 45 minutes from being downloaded still, so we're getting close.
And then you'll have that wonderful wait for the high def. I made the mistake the last time I uploaded a video. I forgot for the high def to upload, and I clicked public, and then I was like, oh man.
Oh, you forgot to click the HD?
Yeah, I forgot to wait until the HD process, so it was not even 720, horrible for a premiere, and I was like, this is just awful. But now you've got a tour of Father Fish's place. That's how many do you have between now and then? I know you've got a couple, I think, right?
Let's see. I've got Cody's son after this one. Then LRB is going to take me a day or two, probably just to do it. I mean, there's a lot of footage from there. And then Griffin. And I don't think we didn't shoot yours till we got back from Fatherfish, right, Ed? Or did we do it before? I can't remember.
We did after Fatherfish.
It was after.
So it'll be so Fatherfish will be after Griffin. So he's about 3 away or so.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Absolutely. Kaler's Aquatics, Bob Kaler with the $10 super chat. Hashtag.
All right.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate
Those
that.
are,
Looking forward to seeing you hopefully next weekend, buddy. I think that'll be fun to hang out with you again and, go do some fishy stuff.
right.
We're here. Lots of highs and hellos. So if you've got questions for either of these fine gentlemen or any of us, feel free to throw those in the chat. I am keeping an eye on that. But we're just kind of, on the fly.
My question, I would have to ask Father Fish if you went collecting since we left.
Yeah, a couple of times. We went out recently and got about 50 yellow summer Everglade. So we've been setting up tanks with them. Frank was gone for a while, and now he's back. So we've been stocking up on everything. So we've restocked all of our wild caught stuff. This coming Wednesday, I'm taking my newest employee, Thomas, and we're going to go to Boca and do the trip that we never got a chance to do as a group. We're going to go collect pygmy seahorses.
The pygmy ones, right?
Yeah, the little tiny ones. They're like an inch long. So that'll be Wednesday. And we'll try to do that live stream, at least enough to be able to show them.
That'll be awesome. I was sad we didn't get to do that, but
No.
I enjoyed every minute that we had down there, so I couldn't complain.
Well, we couldn't drag you out of the water.
That's one thing to keep in mind. When I get in my element like that, it's like I'm that kid that doesn't want to get out of the ball pit at McDonald's back when they still had those. Like, come on, time to go.
Right,
You're like 5 more minutes, please.
Funny.
I was ready to see him start growing gills, Father Fish. I thought for sure he was going to have gills
Really?
for a minute.
Well, I was worried about that alligator that kept eyeing him.
See, I don't worry about gators. Somebody mentioned a gator, and I was like, pick it on me or not. I grew up in Florida, swam with gators plenty, never had
You
any.
know about it. See,
any
can't
issue.
scare him. Can't
Yeah.
scare him. Right.
And the funny thing is, I won't digress too far, but grew up on the beach in Florida, in the ocean almost every single day. But now when I go back to the ocean, I'm scared of sharks. It's
Oh,
crazy
really?
to admit that, but it freaks me out now when I go back. I'm constantly worried about sharks, even though I grew up in the ocean almost every single day when I lived down there for years and years.
Well, that's probably a good thing to be fearful of. I mean, I don't think your average tourist understands how close to shore a bull shark will come.
Yeah, we saw tons of them growing up. Tons of sharks, that is. You want to say real quick, Mary Page Flynn with $1.50 super sticker with the cute little yellow puppy. Thank you very much, Mary Page. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm punching myself in the face here, moving that, but that's okay.
The worst thing that ever got me in the Gulf of Mexico was we went down there for a week and I got super bad sunburn. But we were there for one more day. And my mom's like, I wanted to go out. She said, just wear a T-shirt. So I wore a T-shirt and I got a jellyfish stuck in the T-shirt.
Oh my
And
God.
I got burned all over my belly. So I couldn't lay on my back or my belly.
Oh, that's terrible.
I slept off the side of the bed. Oh.
That's
But
crazy.
it really didn't last very long. I think the last burn was like a day or two. It wasn't long.
So Steve,
Psychedelic Hippocampus is asking me if it would be possible to set up a biotope that would support both crabs and chameleons. That's kind of interesting.
that is.
I've got a biotope right now with veil chameleons in it and some geckos, the Geico gecko, the green one. and I've got a few hermit crabs, so I'm going to put hermit crabs in it because there's no reason why they wouldn't do just fine. They like to go in the water. They like to come up and climb in the tree. And that's what I've got. I've got a big tree stump sitting in about an inch or two of water. So we'll do that, psychedelic hippocampus, and then we'll show y'all what it looks like. That'll be fun.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome. Chris, Multi-Tank Addiction is out of here. Have a great night, brother. Always good to see you.
See you, Chris. Good to see you, brother.
I think it was. Let me find it again. Somebody was there. It is. Stephen the biologist said, I would love to have a conversation with Thomas, the new employee. He seems very intelligent, but the entire Father Shoal is amazing.
Well, we've been having quite a time of it. We've done 111 consecutive daily streams.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That is.
111. Wow.
111. 8 to 10 in the morning. Gets me out of bed.
Yes, I'm normally in bed for that because I'm normally up till 3 or 4 in the morning.
Well, it gets me in bed 10 o'clock at night.
Absolutely.
So I can get up.
It usually starts at 5 a.m. my time.
I know.
I managed to get up early for you the other day.
Yes, you did. I really appreciated that. Alex is on fairly routinely. I guess he doesn't sleep.
You know, Father,
we get people from all over the world. It's remarkable.
Father Fish, John Peck, he enjoys listening in the mornings.
Pardon?
John Peck, he lurks and watches your shows in the mornings while he's on his way to work.
Yep, Peck Tech.
A lot of people do, yeah. A lot of people do.
He made a little video with you, or talking about you too, like a week or two ago. Yep. Huh. He did a sand cap tank.
Oh, no! Oh, real? Oh, cool! Nice. Atkins, yeah, we're I don't know. It's a lot of fun. Having a lot of fun with it. Breaking new territory, as it were.
Most definitely. So, Kenny, your background's a little different than your usual live stream background. What do you got going on there behind you?
That is my African tank behind me, my 135-gallon African tank. It's basically the other side of the dual 135s in the front room.
It's in the wall, isn't it?
Yeah, I built it right in the wall. I service it from the garage.
Really nice.
Some beautiful fish in there.
Yeah, they're big, aren't they?
Some of them are. The VC10's probably 10 inches now.
Wow.
And then I've got a couple of pretty good-sized Venustus, and I have one Madagascar in there. I've got a Paratilapia bleakeri in there.
That is a beautiful tank. I know Mrs. Fever's more the cichlid person than I am, but I can still appreciate a beautiful tank when I see one.
How is her? She still got a few of those left?
She kept her frontosis. After she lost her red frontosis, she kind of did the I'm over the cichlids thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which that's what got me out of it years ago was I got sick of things killing things and was like, I can't do this anymore. So she's still got her fronty. She's got her black widow frontosa. And I think
those are gorgeous.
Yeah, so we're looking for a few select frontoses for her. And that'll, I think, conclude her cichlid setup.
Well, how would she also like to have my blue cichlids?
I will ask her, but I think those things are mean as snot, if I remember correctly.
Those are probably what started
$3 to take them. $3.
The Mbuna species, they're a tough breed, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. They're blue and pretty. I think she would really like them.
I will ask her. I think she went on the lurk. I think I saw that a little bit ago. Chad, I've got to get. I don't want to go off into what I'm doing, but I've got so many tanks to get moved and set up to redo and to build a fish gallery in the living room and move some stuff out. I moved out 15 empty tanks today to the new storage shed just so I would have some walking space to start moving things. And I I drained about a quarter of one rack and cleared the fish out and moved them over. So I've got a lot of tanks to set up before I even think about bringing in new fish.
Well, it sounds like you have a direction, though.
Yes, that's going to be the big thing, and I'm sure you all can definitely relate to this, especially like Father Fish having a actual legitimate pet store. There was not planning when I first started getting tanks because there was never a plan to have almost 100 tanks. So it's been kind of adding and stacking them in as I acquired them over the past year. I guess, year and a half or so since I got back in the hobby. But now I'm going through from the beginning and I'm planning out all the racks and the air pump, the air lines and all that stuff. And it definitely makes a difference if you even think that you might end up with a bunch of tanks to try and plan it out first. Kind of like what Ed did. Ed did it nice and slow and took his time and planned everything out. And me, I'm like, well, it's just one more tank. It's just 2 more tanks. It's just a Petco sale.
Yeah, I did that with my shop. I spent 2 months doing a floor design, a floor pattern for exactly what I wanted to do. I built in all the plumbing, everything, the wiring. So we had it all mapped out and strategized before we put the first screw in the first piece of wood, and then spent 2 months straight nonstop with 3 guys working 40 hours a week building it out. And it is today exactly what that floor plan was. It was, and it's
what I liked about
it's very usable, workable. It's easy to move around, and it uses all the available space.
Yeah, it's optimized very, very well. It's very efficient.
Well, I liked when you were looking at the fish too, the way they had it laid in layers, where it made it so it just made it easy to see everything.
Yes.
You didn't have to bend way down or way up or stand on your tippy toes. Everything was pretty easy to get to.
Yeah, I did that based on a fish store that I knew was called the Atlas Fish Store in Baltimore in the 1960s. And that's the way he had his tank set up, just progressives, like stair steps. And I always liked it and always wanted to do it. So that was the chance to do it.
Absolutely. I think I saw a video quite some time back where I want to say it was Joey, King of DIY. He built a rack specifically stair stepped like that in one of his how to build the rack videos. And that's always intrigued me. And I actually contemplated doing that for the rack that I have built now. And Mrs. Fever was kind of mad I didn't do that. After I built the rack, she said, I thought you were going to do this. And I'm like, no, I changed my mind. I want to do the tanks this way. So real quick, Mary Pitch Flynn, thank you. She said, PecTech did the video called Sandy Caps, dedicated to Father Fish as a method of capping the tanks with sand. So nice. Sandy Caps is the name of that video. And then Chad Krotz says, Fisher Fever question for Daniken. What species of fish have you kept the longest, and what is it you like about said species?
I would say African cichlids are by far the one that I've got the most time invested with. What turned me on to them originally was their color. Well, like I said, it's a poor man's saltwater tank is what it is. I mean, their colors are amazing. They do have their challenges, as James said. I mean, a lot of people get away from them because of their aggressiveness. However, if you take the time, make sure you have lots of rock. Every time I do a water change, I try to go in, rearrange rock. As long as you keep the African cichlids entertained and make sure you have lots of them in the tank, that generally will curb your aggression. Now, you're still going to have casualty. That's just the nature of the beast. These guys are aggressive little species, and they can do so much damage to one another so quickly that don't ever take it personal if you lose one. It's just part of the game with that African cichlid tank. But knock on wood, and I'm definitely going to knock hard. Right. I haven't had any casualties in the tank behind me now in almost a year. So that's awesome. Everybody, I think they've established who's what in the tank. I also haven't added anything to this tank now. So Once you get that peacefulness, I don't mess with them. I let it ride for as long as I can, you know. But that would be definitely my favorite species are the Africans.
Very, very nice. Yeah, I know that was one of the big things when we were on the road trip with you. You're like, man, I hope I get to see the cichlid shack. That's like one of the things I have to do.
Yeah.
And then we were hitting the pet stores with you right before you left Tennessee. We were with Bob Kaler, Kaler's Aquatics, and Susan, Ed, Bob, you, myself, I think was the crew. We'd get in the pet store and you're straight over to this, like, hey, what's up with the cichlids? What you got going on here? They are beautiful fish. They really are.
Yeah, that was good. The fish stores were fun too. Yeah.
Steven said he's coming up on my stream in the morning, so I'm excited about that. He tried once before and couldn't get the equipment working, so this will be fun.
That Steven guy is someone who I would like to see what he's got going on.
Yeah, me too. He's going to be retiring soon, and he's talking about setting up a website that would be a fish vet website as a service to fish keepers.
Wow, that's neat.
Isn't that cool?
Very much.
Very cool. Definitely very helpful. I bought a book. I bought a picture book the other day. I bought a book, and it's, I think, maybe 100 illustrated pages of different fish diseases, so I can kind of study more on that. And I'm used to what I see, fairly often, if you will, or the common things. You're like, oh, that's ick. I've seen ick, X amount of times. I know what ick looks like. But it's nice to have, if you're not well versed like he is in fish disease, it's nice to have photographs to reference and go, okay, well, this is what this looks like on a cichlid, and this is what that same thing looks like on this other type of fish. So that would definitely be helpful, because it can sometimes be hard to diagnose things.
And if you can't find it in a book, guys, you can always ask the chat, or you can come to your fish fam here on YouTube, because there's somebody in the chat, I promise you, knows what it is.
Absolutely. And we've even done that before. Somebody asked, and of course, pictures or video is always helpful. So they actually went on their channel, posted a quick, I think, like 1 minute video of the fish that was having the issue. And then Bob Kaler and a couple other people went over there, looked at the video, came back in the chat, while we were still live, and said, hey, this is what it is. This is how you can fix it. Again, back to that community piece. It's wonderful to have everybody that we have here in this community.
Amen. Gentlemen, I'm going to go to bed.
I don't blame you. I hope you have a wonderful night. I appreciate you hopping up on here.
It was a lot of fun being here. Thank you very much.
Always glad
Great
to have you.
Great to see you, Father Fish.
And
talk to you again soon. I think I'm off.
Take care, Father.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if somehow you have not already checked out Father Fish's channel, subscribed over there, I highly recommend you do that. He's an awesome guy with lots and lots of knowledge. Does live streams, like he said, every single day at this point. It's really cool stuff. And just a fun guy. So
yeah, you'll never know what you're going to get on his live stream either. He always has something different going on. So
absolutely.
I'm working on a song for him too.
Ooh.
Yeah. I just need to work out all the middle stuff. I got the chorus down. A song for him too. Uh-oh.
That was me. Sorry. Oh. I was looking for that little song I did for you last night.
I don't know where my cell phone is. I couldn't find it. I don't know where I left it.
We've actually got now, Kenny, you're the guest tonight. It looks like we had somebody else pop up behind the scenes here. It's not somebody I've ever talked to. It's actually T-Bone.
T-Bone.
I've seen him in the chat a lot, but I've never had him live on the stream before.
I never have either.
You want to bring him up here to say hello to him? I don't want
to
on your guestliness here.
Oh, don't ever worry about that, man.
Hey, T-Bone, how's it going?
How's it going, T-Bone?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
I'm good.
Oh, excellent.
How are you?
Love it.
We're doing great.
What's your favorite cut
Doing
of steak?
great. Sorry?
What's your favorite cut of steak?
What's my favourite what?
Cut of steak.
I don't eat red meat.
Like a
I don't eat
ribeye
red-
or a T-bone?
Oh, he doesn't eat red meat.
Oh, okay.
Don't buy the old T-bone.
That's cool.
So, do you have any tanks nearby you could show us? I know at one point you talked about you were wanting to show off some tanks. I don't know if you've got them near
Yeah.
you or.
I got Tiger Barb tank.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. That's a
Oh
nice
my
tank.
goodness. Here, let me do. Find a button here.
Tiger Barbs. Green Tiger
Wow.
Barbs and North Tiger Barb.
That is a beautiful tank.
That is. Darn it. I was thinking about going with a barb tank. And
Look
then
at
I
that piece
decided-
of wood, man.
Wish I would have.
Oops, we lost him. Let me do this. There we go. We're back.
Must have hit the wrong button.
Yep.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
wanted to do a barb tank. I was debating it, and then I decided, I need to just stick to what I've got. But boy, that was a nice looking barb tank. I like it when they get big. And I like how they all chase each other. There's so much action.
Well, if you're already saying I wish I could have, then it sounds like you might as well just get one set up, Ed.
Someday.
Absolutely. Foxy Fish has got to run, so thanks for the stream. FRF and friends, thank you, mods. Have a great night. Foxy, thank you for hanging out with us. And I accepted your friend request on Facebook today. There are probably like 20 people. I finally went through there, got on and accepted friend requests. So if you've been waiting and wondering why this jerk hasn't accepted, it just hadn't been on there.
Did you accept me?
No, because you sent it to my not Fish Room Fever one. You sent it to my personal one that I don't ever get on.
Oh, okay.
But eventually I'll get on there. Jay Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics says, hey guys,
I
hope
didn't know
everyone's
what your
having a
name
great weekend. And Grumpy Mike's Fish, thank you for the pooper chat. I appreciate that. He's slinging poop and I caught it.
Oh, you got some poop.
I got some poop. There's that super pooper chat Grumpy Mike sent.
Nice.
Caught it. Always good to see you, Mike. I appreciate you being here. Party popper for you, my friend.
Man.
Thank you very much.
Now, in yesterday's stream, I was saying how I liked Mike because he had the Chiefs rings.
Mhm.
And then I asked him where he was from, and then I forgot to look to see if he said anything. Mike, are you from somewhere? Are you from Kansas City or Missouri or Kansas? Or Baltimore?
Sorry, I was trying to get through the chat and make sure I hadn't missed any questions. We got everything highlighted. I don't think that I missed anything directed at us. I see some good back and forth going on in the chat. And that is awesome. Again, hashtag community. Thank you for posting the links there for the channels, moderators, Candy, Zen, and all of you. I appreciate the hard work that you are putting in. So, all right.
So,
think we're
James,
back.
have you got a tentative date that you're going to reschedule that deal you were going to do?
We have to find out from the tent company when that's going to work. So, like, our governor lifted the restrictions for the state, but like our city and our county is still enforcing everything. So, just to kind of, looking at the current health situation, if you will. I almost got poo stuck to my desk. But I think the big thing's going to be, it's probably going to be springtime, because with it being an outdoor event, having tents in a parking lot, we definitely don't want it to be super cold, especially, people are going to have, tanks set up at booths, I'm sure, to sell fish and, displays and demos and stuff like that. So it will probably be springtime if I had to put a tentative time frame on it. And then I will have to talk to the committee, if you will. But it's definitely still going to happen. It's a shame that, like Aquashella and many other things that got canceled due to the world health situation. as I like to put it. But it will happen. It'll probably be a 2021 thing, probably springtime if I had to guess at this point. But it's going to be a blast, and that's just giving us more time to plan even more awesome stuff to add on to that event.
Now, Shay, if you would like your Saints D, you're welcome. I mean, if you just let me know who you got for defense, I might be willing to work a trade.
Yeah, I know it could be a 3-way trade, and somehow I could get Patrick Mahomes out of it.
Well, that's with Jay. Oh, that's right. She's what manages James.
Yeah. She's the GM.
She is. I'm just the face of the team. Go figure. They're talking fantasy football for anybody that missed out on that. We've got the Fish Fam Fantasy Football League.
Now, speaking of that, Kenny, are you going to be having a fantasy football draft video show once a week?
I was thinking about it, Ed, but I mean, at this point, we're 4 weeks into it. I mean, I wonder if we would even maybe we could start something up closer to when we're getting close to playoffs or something. I'm thinking.
Okay, unless you want to do quarterly.
Yeah, we could do that too.
Or halfway.
But yeah, we definitely do like an early Sunday or something. We'll figure it out. Problem is Saturdays and Sundays are two huge days for the Fish Fam doing their streams, and I don't want to take that and trample over someone. That's one of the things I was thinking. So
maybe we could just see if Guppy Guru would just not do it for a week. I'm just teasing. I'm not gonna. We're not gonna take his spot.
And Select Pet says, let me know too. I'll help get the word out. Thank you, Select Pet. I'm almost positive that Bob and I are going to come up there and see you next weekend. Him and I still have to get together on details, but I know it had been mentioned in the Thursday night stream.
Yeah,
of course, can't go, unfortunately.
I might have family that decided to come visit me they're coming in on Wednesday and not leaving until Sunday. So, and I even asked them, hey, to my brother, your wife could hang out with all the girls here. They could go shopping and crap, and we could go to Lexington. And he's like, yeah, I don't want to. So he doesn't even have a fish tank. So
well, it was worth a try. Hey, Melvin, rebuilding our brain. Good to see you, buddy. So I'm surprised normally we have a lot more questions roll in. I kind of left room for that to come in, especially when we have a guest on. So if you want to throw those out there, feel free to. If not, we're just going to hang out and chit chat. And if we have an opportunity to be helpful, we will most definitely take that. Other than that, it's just kind of 3 fish nerds shooting the breeze. I'm
talking of our shenanigans.
Yes, our shenanigans. That was so much fun though. I mean, that was a crazy couple of days because it was just slam packed into 48 hours.
Yeah, dude, it was.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could look for you guys could get a summer cabin in Gatlinburg. Is that what it's called?
Gatlinburg. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a big vacation town for like fancy people like you, Kenny. And
yeah, right. There ain't nothing fancy about me, brother.
Neither is Tennessee. So you could come on down and buy yourself a cabin, and then you guys could just stay there. And then
believe me, if I could, I've got 2 cabins up in Wisconsin that I own. One, one 2-bedroom home, and the other's a 1-bedroom cabin that I can't get her to. That we own free and clear, mind you. That nice. She has no interest in going to. She wants to stay out here. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I guarantee you, as soon as I'm retired, I'm there 4 months of the year. If you want to come with, great. If not, I'll see you when I get back.
Take care of the fish. Be back in 4 months.
Well, maybe she doesn't want to sleep with a roof over her head.
Well, maybe she's that way. Trust
me,
Danny is an earthy lady. She'd much rather be in a tent than a house. Trust me. That's her. That's kind of her zen. She wants to be out in the wilderness. What's that?
Hook her up a hammock.
Hammock, yeah, there you go. She'd be in heaven then.
That would be awesome. So Select Pet said he'd be happy to have the Tennessee Fish Mafia at the event next weekend. He said grab Rack and Sean Peck and everybody else that wants to go on the way. We'll have to talk to Bob on that one. I think Bob's going to drive because it's more comfortable for him than riding in my car. So I don't want to volunteer his truck space, but
And we did already ask Sean, and he plays a game with some friends on Saturday nights.
That's right. That's
why he said he couldn't. But I'll have to give you like $40 or $60 or something. And if you see any red Moscows or some other guppy that you don't want, you could buy it from me.
I could do that. Yeah, I won't have Ed there to grab the bags out of my hands when I see fish. I want that.
You know,
you guys,
I already told the guy I was going to buy that one. I keep trying to go back, and I think I said this, and this, and I was paying the guy when you picked it up.
No, but that one. Well, see, that one had the label flipped over, so like you hadn't purchased it yet. You were still picking stuff, but I rolled it over to look at the label to see what they were, and it said red mosaic, and you said, "Ooh, those are nice. Yeah, these two."
3 bags of red mosaics.
I know. I'm still going to give you a hard time. I love you for it, but it's funny, and I can't help pick on you. John Cox says, "Fish Room people, I got a question for the group. How many guppies would you put in a 75 to 100 gallon tub with a drop and leave them till fall mentality?" Okay, put them in a tub with a drop and leave them till fall mentality.
I dropped about 40 in at the end of May. I would have dropped them in earlier, but we had such a weird year this year. It was such a cold summer.
We did.
I had to start up about a month later than I wanted to, but I ended up taking about probably 2,500 out from 40.
Wow.
So, and then the other tank I put in mid-June. I put like 18 in, and I pulled out about 250. But I think the problem there was I had too many tab holes in that tank.
So I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I didn't realize you were finished.
Well, no. The problem is I keep thinking about things when I have nothing to talk about. But I think what happened was because the fish weren't in there earlier, the frogs felt more comfortable and laid a lot of eggs in there. And if I would have got those fish in early also, they would have been ahead of the game on the frogs.
They would have been eating some eggs.
Maybe because, and I imagine those little tree frogs have super small eggs. Because, I mean, the babies are as small as not the babies, the frog itself is the size of your pinky nail.
Yep.
Super small. So maybe maybe my blue ones all ate their eggs. Who knows?
That's possible. So for me personally, keeping in mind that they're going to stay out there and continue, if I'm not doing anything, I'm not pulling fry, and I'm just looking at leaving them in there the whole time, I'm probably going to drop 7 trios in there. Especially if I'm doing nice ones, if you will, if I'm putting out the money to buy 7 trios of a really nice strain, I think that's a safe number for me that, you got 14 females in there that are going to start out your multiplying and to go from there. So it shouldn't get super, super, super overcrowded by the end, but you should still have plenty of production, I would think. So about half of what Ed put in his, but I think his was 20 pairs. And you said you put 40 in there and you had about half male, half female, or?
I don't even know if they were half and half. I just been growing them from the 7 I bought the year before in Knoxville.
Gotcha.
And that was in a 20 long. And so in a year in the 20 long, they about tripled their numbers. And then in a few months, I don't even know what number. I would like to say quadruple, but it's more like 100 times their number or something, So fish tubbing is so much fun. Next year, I plan on doing a lot more of my good strands out there, because that was just my experimental this year. And I keep forgetting. I got to talk. Mississippi Hippie said she would let me have a couple of her pond guppies.
Ooh.
And I keep forgetting to contact her.
Mississippi Hippie, I think he said.
Yep.
So, Daniken.
As far as me, guys, I just recently got into guppies. All we did for ponds this year is just basically feeder stuff, mosquito larvae, daffia, scuds. That's all we had in our ponds out there. Just food for the fish. But next year we have intentions of doing ponds. So, but I was going to ask you, Ed, how are the green sailfins doing?
I haven't had an adult die after the initial like 4 days of hell. I mean, It was like hamburger hell or something, or Gettysburg, it looked like a battlefield where people were just laying everywhere dead. And there were 7 survivors, and now I would guess there's 20 F1s.
Nice.
So, yeah. And I'm hoping that the F1s will grow up to be bigger than the parents. I mean, I already see them. They're doing really good. I hope they become bigger and more green. I think the original ones might be stunted a little. I'm hoping they're stunted because they're an awfully small molly.
Yeah.
And there were so many in that little area that you guys were in. I think it was probably hard for them to eat. Their stomachs are all sunk in, and now they're nice and fat and happy. And I haven't had to add any more salt water to it, any more salt to the tank either. Awesome. So they've gotten used to that.
Very, very nice. John Cox was saying, I've put 50 females in a tub with 5 males, but I fed and started pulling midsummer in the past. Then Holly had mentioned I only dropped 1 trio in each. Maybe I need to put more next year. I'm definitely going to go with more than one. Not that you couldn't do just 1 trio, and there's nothing wrong with that. But personally, I'm gonna put quite a few in there because I have plans to, I think, put in 4 larger tubs, kind of like what Ed did. Where I did it once, have the flower bed that turned into a cat litter box for the community. So I think the tubs there will be nice, and I may even do some bristlenose plecos out there. So I may not put quite as many guppies in, but also have bristlenose plecos in there as well. See how they do. I know Michael's fish room had done that at one point. He had horrible luck with it, but I think it was due to the god awful dragonfly larva.
Oh, yeah. Those things are gnarly.
I found 10 of those in my tank that had all the thousands. So I was imagining they were probably eating about 600 fry a month, the 10. So just think of what I would have had if I didn't have those 10.
Yeah, and those things can also take down your adults, your bigger fish, not just eat your fry. There was actually one when we did the wild fish collecting. There was one of those dragonfly nymphs that had a hold of an adult fish, and it was making it swim in circles because it was throwing it off keel. So it was kind of interesting watching it attack a fish that was much larger than it, clinging to it for dear life.
Generally, the nymphs won't attack a fish that's larger. Normally, they're about the same size, but the large nymphs can get like over almost 3 inches. So that would be able to kill any of your adult guppies also. But it's going to take about 3 years for that one to grow. So the large dragonflies live a large part of their life underwater.
Yep.
So everything I had was either a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch. There were 2 different types I had. I had a darker brown and a white nymph. So I must have 2 different size dragonflies.
Chad Cross has got a question for the panel. Says, what's a fish you want to keep but are hesitant to?
Well, for me, I would definitely say it is a stingray. And the only hesitation I would have is I'm the kind of guy, I don't get something unless I know I have a habitat that they can have their forever life in.
Right.
And for me, I'm not even going to attempt to have a stingray unless I have a minimum of 1,000 gallon. And, I want them to be able to basically start in the tank that they'll live the rest of their life in. So.
And that is always a good motto to go by. Because, stuff happens, and a lot of times people don't get around to that other tank. That's awesome. My youngest, he's bugged me for, a while now about getting a stinger. I'm like, no, we don't have a place for it. Just nowhere to put it. And I'll bring in a new tank. Can a stingray go in that? No, a stingray can't go in that.
I'd like to get some horsehead loaches. My problem is I have dirted bottoms on most of my sand tops, so I don't want them to mess everything up. So the horsehead loach and maybe the half beaks. A lot of it's stuff that I look at Dan's fish on Get Kills all the time and just drool at his fish all the time. So those are the ones that I probably, I would love to have archer fish too. That'd be fun. But I don't want to have a mixed water.
Well, I guess if it comes down to a fish that I want, but I'm hesitant to keep, it would be a puffer. I'd like to have puffers, but puffers are kind of a league of their own, if you will. There's a whole different set of requirements and things that go with puffers that can be a little bit outside of the norm, especially if you're looking at brackish versus just straight up freshwater. I've kept saltwater puffers before, but I would say that's probably my one fish that I would love to have, but I'm kind of hesitant. And then, of course, you get into different puffers, different sizes. You don't want to get a puffer that's going to get 18 inches long, kind of like what Kenny had said, if you don't have that big tank for it already. And my biggest tank is reserved for my piranhas. I got to lay eyes on it day before yesterday when I was at storage, and get the measurements so I can get the stand built for it. And it is it's 225 gallon.
Nice.
But that's for the group of piranhas. They need that big tank. And my bishers can go in the 125 here, so that'll be nice. Go through here.
Yeah. Dan's fish, I was out there the other day. Did you guys see those giant daisy fish he has now?
Mm-mm.
Oh, they're cool looking. They're probably about that big. Great big ones. They're the size of like a rainbow fish, 65 bucks a piece, but they're super, super cool. I was hesitant to get them because I haven't had very good luck with rice fish in my water here, so I'm not going to chance it for. If anybody has had good luck keeping rice fish, that is a cool looking rice fish.
James and I just got a bag of rice fish.
Yep. Did you?
We've got a Medaka rice fish.
Oh, thank you I didn't know what they were called. So Medaka.
They're doing good. We had one that did not make it home. But other than that, everybody's doing good now that they're in a tank. It's the craziest thing. So I've got those on a rack. And every once in a while, I will find a snow cross inler in that tank because the tank above it has snow crosses. And it's got a lid, but it's got one of the standard lids, so it has the cutout in the back where you could put your hang-on back filter in it. But it's right up against the wall, basically. So I guess that one guy, I've had to move him like 3 times in the past month and a half. I guess he's jumping out and he's hitting that wall. And he's ending up in the tank down below on the rack. So I walked in and I went to feed the rice fish yesterday and turned the lights on. And there's this one snow cross inler swimming around in there. And I'm like, no, get out of there.
Yeah, it blows my mind. We have racks like that. How we had a Pandagara do that. I'm like, how did you end up here? And he ended up from the very top of the rack to the very bottom. So he actually skipped the row and then ended up in the one below that. So I'm like, what is?
I had a hatchet fish do that to me one time. I was trying to catch him out, and it jumped out of the tank, and I had like my big roll of the filter floss. You could get the larger size when you're getting it in bulk, and it had landed on that and then flipped down into the bottom row of tank. So it did, like you said, it missed the one below it and landed and I'm looking everywhere for this fish because I can see the water spots on that filter roll that's sitting there. And I'm like, where's this fish? And then finally out of the corner of my eye, I see it swimming around in that bottom tank. And I'm like, how did you even manage the gymnastics to do that? Oh,
they don't realize how close they were, right?
Yeah. So Brad, Mr. Fish, sir, good to see you, my friend, says, which rice fish is cold water? I heard all are not good for leaving outside.
Daisy rice fish prefer it to be a little warmer. I found that out because I was thinking about doing my daisy rice fish I got from Pam. I was hoping to eventually split them in half and put half of them outside year round. But found out they like it warm, so I keep a heater in there and I keep them at 74 to 75.
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. This is my first experience with any rice fish. Is these Medacas that we got at the Indianapolis, the CCAC parking lot swap.
Our new club?
Yes, our new club that we're a part of. Not that I keep forgetting that, but I keep forgetting to mention that we are a part of the Circle City Aquarium Club now. For the next 2 years.
So it sounds like you guys will have an excuse to go north once a month now.
Yep. They actually were having a special where we paid for a year and we got a year free. So we are members for the next 2 years now.
You wouldn't have to twist my arm very hard to go see Lucas once a month. I mean, really.
Right.
Yeah. Now, did you get to go to Haley's house when you were there?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man, she has some amazing tanks, too.
Haley actually wanted me to hop in her car or in my truck. We were going to go to, she wanted me to drive her to Ohio Fish Rescue. And now I'm really wishing I had, you know. But at the time, I had plans with you guys. We had to get down to Father Fish. So I was like, okay, that's going to take some time. Yep. And in my brain, I was like, oh, I'm going to run out of time. And the time I was done with my journey, I ended up here 4 days ahead of time. So I had time to kill in a couple of spots. So
you also had Griff and Catfish Terry you saw on the way.
Right. Yep.
So someone asked if they had the breeder club. There was John Cox's Fisher Fever. Do they have the breeder program? Yes. I believe they have the breeder program and the aquatic plants program. So
they do.
So we can end up being master aquatic horticulturists.
I wonder how many plants I have to try to breed. And does duckweed count as a plant? It just so happens I've got duckweed.
Yeah.
I should take this to my pet store and get like $25 for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, that might be $200 worth.
No, man, that cup was only about that big, dude. So that there's probably thousands worth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's going into my garden.
That was that the first place we stopped or the second? I think it was the first place we stopped that had that duckweed, wasn't it?
That was the first one. That was the Bermuda Triangle. My store is Aquatic Aesthetics. That was the last one. That was Hickson. That was the guy with the big beard. That was real cool.
Yep.
Yeah, he's less than a year old. Like his place just keeps building up so fast. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and that's what surprises me, or I tend to forget sometimes. Like Aquatic Marine, that company has been around for a while, but Kenny just took it over a little over a year ago, and I forget that sometimes. Not this Kenny, my LFS store owner, Kenny. I am looking.
Kenny with the eye.
Yeah, Rico Stan asked if I saw T-Bone's post. I'm gonna look for it. T-Bone says, I have a problem you need to see. I can't explain the situation in my betta tank. If you want to either send me a picture or a video I can pull up, or if you guys want, I can drop the link again and we can take a look at it live right now and see what we could figure out. We've still got about 20 minutes left, so we've got time to be able to do that.
I'm down.
Yeah, Grumpy Mike said that's Ed's retirement fund right there with duckweed.
Yeah.
Rebuilding our brand. Says, don't drink that Chattanooga Ed.
Oh, I've done that on accident.
There it is. Atkins Nature Aquarium says Medaka rice fish can overwinter in Oregon with ice on top. So there's you a good cold water one. And hello, Ray Aquatics. How are you? Let me get this link real quick.
I think, while we were talking here, I think I'm going to pull my goodiettes out of here, and I'm going to put them in my 40-gallon tall, and then not have a heater on it. And then I think I might move the white crosses to here, and I won't have to worry about any guppy crosses. Sorry.
I'm getting rid of all my guppies. I'm not going to do guppies anymore. I'm sick of them.
Well, I'll take some off your hands.
Now, Ed, I sent you a picture, and I can talk to you about this later, but I need to know, you don't have to find it now, but I sent you a picture of these albino, not platinums, but there's some albinos, and I'm curious if they're what the LRB ones look like when they grow up, because they came from the Indy convention as well. So I'm curious if it's the same line. If it's the same line, I'm going to put them all together versus having 2 tanks for the same fish.
Darn it. I don't know where I put my cell phone. I haven't seen it for like 2 hours.
I hear T-Bone. So let's see if we can diagnose the problem with this betta tank.
All right. There's a problem with the back of the tank. All right.
Here,
Should you make this a big image?
Yep, I'm working on it. Solo layout.
Yeah, nothing. Did you get the chart piece?
Is that a film?
Have a good night.
Is it just the algae on the back that he doesn't like?
I can't get it off.
Now, is that like that white, almost proteinish type film that accumulates sometime, or is that an algae sometimes, or is that an algae?
I don't know.
Is that a glass or an acrylic tank?
A glass.
Have you tried a razor blade on it?
On the back, it scratches.
What? I mean, if you put it just real flat against the back and slowly go down, you should be all right as long as you don't put pressure like on one side or the other of the blade.
Okay.
That's about the only way I could see getting it off at this point. If it's really not working with anything else you're using, that's probably going to be the only thing that's going to get it off at this point.
Yep, and I would have your gravel vac or a siphon hose handy. That way you can just suction that crap out that gets in the water free floating. I mean, you should be able to net most of it out as you scrape it off, but wouldn't hurt to do a water change immediately afterwards and suck out what you can that gets loose in the water.
And you can buy like a 4-inch razor blade that it goes a lot easier because it's easier to put the pressure across 4 inches than like the 2 inches. And gosh, I think Tetra makes a blade like that. But I mean, if you go to your local pet store, they probably have one. And it's like a 4-inch blade. It looks just like a paint scraper, but you can just go right down the side and it'll probably help you big time. Somebody's saying use a credit card, but I don't know if plastic will do it.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Oh, absolutely. Somebody also mentioned the magnetic, like the mag floats that have the scraper on them. You could try that, but I think from the sounds of it, as thick as that is on there, you probably just want a fresh razor blade and give a go with that. Net out what you can and then do a water change right after and suck out the rest. Credit cards work great, but if you're having issues not being able to get it off with the razor blade that you've already tried, I'd just try with a fresh one, like Ed said, really, really flat against the surface.
And they're like, you can get ones that are like 4 inches long. I wish I had one. I lost mine and I loved it because I used it all the time on my big tanks. And I just put it flush up against the side and just go, and it just takes it right off. And it's so nice. It's a big blade. And you can get a big area going. Just don't, lean on one side or the other. Maybe James is going to get one because James and I were actually talking about it last time he was over at my house.
Okay.
But if it was acrylic, I wouldn't use the blade on it. But flash would be all right.
Sweet.
I don't know how the corners are sealed. If you've got the silicone in the corners, don't get too close to the sides either because you don't want to mess up your seals.
Right. So I don't have the handle in here, but I've got my replacement blades. This actually goes into a T-shaped handle. It's like a 4-inch razor blade. This is what Ed was talking about. I don't know about over there. I know here at like the hardware stores, like Ed mentioned, there are a couple of aquatic companies that make them, but they cost a lot more. But it's the same thing. I go to the hardware store. It's like $5 for the scraper with like 6 of these blades in it. So I like to use that a lot.
But once you're done with it, make sure you take it out and dry the blade off because they rust like crazy.
They do.
Yeah. All right.
So
Sweet, guys. Thanks for your help.
Oh, absolutely. Glad to
you'll
do
have
it.
to let us know how it goes.
All right. I got to go.
All right,
right,
I
buddy.
appreciate it, T-Bone.
Good to
Glad
meet
we were
you,
able to help.
T-Bone. Good to meet
Hey,
you, brother.
you. Good to meet you all.
Take
Good
it
to meet
easy.
you.
There we go. All right, let me get this chat back up here. I lost that. I need to remember to put that razor blade up. But yeah, Ed, remind me next time we meet up to bring you a couple of these blades, because I know you have the scraper, but you didn't have any blades, and I've got a bunch of the blades.
Yeah, my blades are all rusty because, well, sometimes you forget to dry them off.
The melamine sponge on glass works great too. It can do a lot. Yes, they definitely do. I've got a ton of those. I actually have a super ton of those, because that's one of the things that I'm going to be putting up with the dry goods on the website once I get that page built. I've got a whole bunch of dry goods to go up on the Fish Room Fever website, but I think I need to get the fish listed first on our Fish Collective before I get the dry goods up. Things to come.
I like those sponges.
One thing I should have told T-Bone, though, is a lot of my tanks, I just leave it growing on the back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think almost every one of my tanks has got some algae on the back.
Well, I enjoy it. The thing that I guess was throwing me off was it looked almost like that white protein film that you can get, like especially on your airline tubing and stuff. And if it's that, then that stuff gets nasty. But if it is definitely algae, then I leave my algae grow. Sometimes more than I should, maybe. I actually did a bunch of aquascaping with hair algae this past week when I was moving stuff from tank to tank. I've got one tank that I collected all of the hair algae for so that I could put it in that specific tank.
What'd you think of that hair algae deal that Lucas has? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Looks like mountains.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm actually planning
I like to think how long would.
Go ahead.
I would like to see how long it would take my Florida flagfish to eat it all. I'm betting 2 weeks. They are amazing at cleaning that stuff. They're so small and they eat so much.
Then several people, including Candy, which I did see it, but I was off to the side there. He mentioned using a credit card, and there were lots of jokes about maxing out credit cards and things. Credit cards do work well on cleaning glass too. Magic erasers or the melamine sponges, melamine, however you want to pronounce it, work well, just depending upon how thick it is and what you need to get off there. If it's that super stubborn green algae on the glass, the sponges work great, as do a razor blade, and even a credit card. Chackrot says my guppy tank has an algae background. So I've got one of my shrimp tanks that I set up. I moved the shrimp to a different tank. Actually took a mat of hair algae, and I've got it on the bottom so that it can kind of grow out for them. They absolutely love the stuff.
That's got to be cool looking too.
Yeah.
So the other thing you can use too, guys, if you've ever tried it, the netting that you use, like when you want to put on the end of the hose so you don't scoop things into your line when you're draining. Well, I take that stuff and I will wrap it up like a paper towel, rip a piece off, and that stuff works awesome for cleaning the front of glass too. And that gets some of the more stubborn algae, especially like if you have a acrylic. I don't think it would damage the acrylic because it's real soft mesh. So, but because it has the holes in it, it grabs that algae and yanks it off the tank pretty good. So
I like that idea. That's a good tip. I'm gonna have to give that a try. A lot of people saying they don't touch the back glass, and then Amy was saying I hate the ugly brown algae. Yes, she's dealing with some brown algae, but that's the only one I really don't like. All the other algae I'm cool with, but that brown algae that likes to film over the other plants and stuff, that stuff gets annoying.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't particularly like the blackbeard either. I don't like that algae.
I'm okay with it in one tank. I have one tank that I have it in, and instead of getting rid of it, I'm leaving it.
Letting it grow out, huh?
Yeah, well, it looks really nice in the flow of that tank. It's actually the fluval spec that I set up with PecTech. Wow, words are hard tonight. But the way that it flows in there, I'm really liking where it's at.
You know, when we were at that pet store up in the mountains named Nick's, Ro actually bought a rock that had blackbeard algae on it.
Yeah, I remember she kept saying, "Hey, please sell me this rock." And they're like, "No, no, no." And she's like, "Yes, sell me that rock." And they're like, "No, you don't want that." And she's like, "Yeah, I do. Sell it, please." She finally talked him into it.
It was neat.
I've been telling Rose, she says that she was looking for a job, and I told her I think she'd make a heck of a either some sort of a sales rep, because she seems like she's very persuasive. I think she should be a sales rep of some sort.
I agree. She gets boats.
Zen Ginger says, diatom algae always goes away for the most part in my experience. Yes, it does. And that is one of the few algae that I have actually seen and noticed bristlenose plecos enjoy. Most of the time they're just fat and lazy, but they do like to eat up the diatom algae.
Speaking of plecos, how are your zebras doing?
They're doing good. I've got to ship Zen Ginger out hers. We've got to figure out when to do that. It'll definitely be a first of the week type of thing, just to be safe, and we'll overnight them. That's going to suck breaking that tank down and pulling all the caves out to catch 5 of them. But they're doing really, really well. They're growing well, but they've still got time before they're going to start breeding. I have seen some breeding. What's the word I'm looking for here? Tendencies, behaviors out of my snowball plecos, though. I had a male trap a female in the cave the other day. Was unsuccessful. There were no eggs, but that's kind of common their first go around trying to figure it out. But eventually, I think we'll get the zebra plecos to breed. I've got the tank set up the way that I've seen it basically recommended, and trying to mimic their natural habitat. I've actually got in that system, there are 3 10-gallon tanks above the 40 breeder that they're in, that's above the 40 breeder sump. And I've got sponge filters running in all 3 of those 10-gallon tanks to give extra oxygenation to that water, because right now I'm keeping it about 84. Once they get closer to maturity, to breeding age, I'll get it more in that 86 area Fahrenheit that they like for breeding, but 84 right now is fine. The Pugostem monstellatus octopus is doing phenomenally well at 84 degrees. I mean, that stuff is growing like crazy. Basically everything I've got in there is loving 84, which is higher than I run anything else. But I've got the Lucas Brett's 18 Blue Dreams in there. I've got so many shrimplets in there, it's ridiculous. That's also those top 10-gallon tanks where I have my Tom Patterson, or his the White Cross or the Snow Cross. I've got both, and I always mix up which one's his.
White Cross. The
White Cross, I've got those in there. They've dropped a bunch of fry. I've got the LRB exclusive purple koi platinum guppies, I think is what he named them. In one of those 10 gallons, they've dropped fry. And then the Lucas Brett's Fire and Ice are in another 10 gallon, and they've dropped a bunch of fry. So all that stuff is really doing well at 84. I know that can, run their lifespan down a little bit, but in terms of getting those things producing, they're really enjoying it. I feed more often in there. But the whole reason I have it set up that way is so once the plecos do start breeding, I can pull Dad with the cave up into one of those 10-gallon tanks, and it's the exact same water, so I don't have to worry about water parameter differentials.
Right.
It's the exact same thing, and I've got 3 different tins that I can move caves into with babies and all that stuff.
Grumpy Mike wants to know if I've done anything with my green lace rocks yet. I have not. I'm going to be putting them in a 55-gallon tank that I got from Amy from Sand Creek Aquatics 2. It was Nathan's. And I'm going to put Pam's rice fish in there. I'm going to put those lace rocks in there with a jungle val. Kind of make it look like a green jungly jungle for the rice fish.
I think that's going to be very cool. Daryl Deemer, how's it going? Good to see you.
Hey, Daryl. Always good to see you here.
So we've got about 5 minutes left. I don't know exactly who's on tonight after us. I know there's somebody coming up at 9 o'clock. But if you've got any final questions for Kenny E. at Daniken Aquatics or any of us, feel free to throw those in there because we don't want to run over our time like we have been on Thursday nights.
Is Pam usually? I think it's Pam. It usually goes Saturday, isn't it?
Well, we've got Aquamate and Rumble switch back and forth on Saturdays. Amber at one point was doing Saturdays with the girls' night thing. But the Aussies also had their time changes a little different than ours. So we end up going at the same time at one point during the year, and then they get ahead of us versus being behind us a month later. So it's really weird. It's coming up on a time where you'll probably see Aquamate on here at some point in the next month because our times will overlap. And we kind of talked about it ahead of time. And we're like, hey, we should just do a big collaboration stream. That'll make it easy for everybody to catch the shows.
Hey, Jess from Mainspins Furs and Furs and Fins asks, can Plecos be on sand substrate?
Absolutely. In my experience, absolutely.
Okay. There you go, Jess.
Fishymon64. I love that name. That's an awesome name. Welcome to Team Bristol Notes. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the Fish Room Fever fam. I appreciate you becoming a member. That is awesome of you. We're only a couple away from adding on a new emoji. I've got a members video that I filmed recently that I'm going to put out day after tomorrow probably, where I'm not doing the Monday live streams anymore. Don't forget you've got the members only emojis available to you now in the chat and on comments if you leave comments. And when you get a chance and you want to browse some cool stuff, go check out those members only videos that you have access to now. Thank you for joining Fishymon64.
You know, James, for one stream, I would love to see you borrow those glasses to Ed with that red beard. That would be something, wouldn't it?
You know, I discovered this. When I wear these things, I look like I got the Groucho Marx glasses and nose.
His nose fits perfect for that.
I can't believe it. I need to get rid of the red and just go black. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one and only Grumpy Mike's Fish throwing down the $3 super sticker with the thumbs up pair. Mike, I appreciate you. It's always awesome to have you here. Super chats or not, but I love you and I appreciate you throwing those down. Thank you very much. Chad Crott says, fun time as always. So long and thanks for all the fish. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Who can tell me what movie that was on real quick? It was Dolphin singing it.
He's asking you, Kenny, because I already know, obviously.
I don't know the answer.
Oh, just guess.
Chattanooga.
I don't know. I have no idea. Where? I'll guess. Nemo. Finding Nemo.
No, it was. Oh Lord! Now I can't think of the title of it. It was the movie where they're
Aquaman.
No, stop. They have to go and find the supercomputer, and the answer to life is 42, but then they don't know what the question. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Fever. Yes.
I thought we were talking about fish movies.
Always.
Shay says Shy saves the day.
Yes. There we go. Thank you, Chad. I couldn't think of the name of it. Yes. Always make sure you have your towel. It's a good movie if you haven't seen it. All right, so we are coming up at 8:59. Kenny, do you have anything that you want to get out there?
As always, love your fish. And James and Ed, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on. I know it was an interesting stream. It was a little different having random people pop up, but it was fun. It's always fun chatting with people.
Hey, the year you and I grew up in, James, that's the norm, man. We always were up on the panels having fun. I mean, that's more than okay by me.
Absolutely. Ed, any final words?
Not really. Thanks everybody for coming in. It was a lot of fun. Keep your tanks clean. Don't be afraid to get your hands wet.
All right.
Yes.
Was that better? How was that?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. So I want to say huge thank you to the moderator team. You all do an amazing job, and I appreciate what you do each and every week, multiple times a week, with absolutely no pay. Thank you all for being here. The lurkers, the listeners. Kenny said he got it. Yes, Ed finally got it.
He nailed it.
The lurkers, the listeners, Tampa Tom Fishing, CJ Black, and the others that are going to catch the replay. I appreciate that very, very much. I'm going to go through and thank the super chatters and stickers real quick, but I want to say be sure you check out both of these guys' channels. They both got amazing channels. They're awesome guys.
Especially this guy here.
Chattanooga Ed, we'd love to get him to 1,000 subscribers sooner or later.
I made did you see my thing I made last night?
Yes, your intro video. Yep. So
I made an intro video. It only took me like 6 hours yesterday.
you'll get to see that 10-second video that took 6 hours this coming Thursday on the Nocturnal Feeding Show. Let me run through here real quick. Of course, we have, now this is going to be slow. They said nobody's scheduled at the moment, so I'm taking this extra minute to do a full thank you. Of course, we had Fishymon64 becoming a new member. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Fish Room Fever family. Glad to have you here. And our super chatters tonight. And of course, thank you to everybody that participated in the stream with the questions and comments. T-Bone, it was great to have you up here. Father Fish, if you come back and caught the replay for some reason, thank you for coming up again. There's the super chat list. We have got a couple people. Thank you. Priscilla, thank you. Oh, no. Yeah, it should be Priscilla's first. Yeah, that was her one from Aquaholics. But here's Priscilla again with the $2 super chat. Kayler's Aquatics with the $10 super chat. Mary Page Flynn throwing down the $1.50 super sticker. Grumpy Mike's Fish pooping with the super chat. Grumpy Mike's Fish again with the $3 super sticker. Chad Krotz with the $5 super chat. Thank you all very much. It means a lot to me. It's never expected, but it is always very much appreciated. And it does help to continue funding the fishy adventures. So until next time, go check out these guys. Like, subscribe, watch their videos. Keep your fish healthy. Keep yourselves healthy. Catch yourself a little fish room fever. Take care, everybody.
Have a good night, all.